since we've done an evening live, for sure, but we get to do it outside today. If anybody pops on, please let me know how the connection is. And guys, a lot of times I can't see whether you're on here or not. For whatever reason, the last few lives that I've done, it up at the top it shows how many people are on the live, but now it doesn't really show it. So if I don't see you, but I'm like, oh, nobody's here, leave a comment so I can see how well we're connected, how everything's going, and let me know if you can hear me or see me well. But I thought that it would be a good time to do a live. I've been out in the garden doing a little garden tour. I hope you all will enjoy that video coming out. I've got multiple videos ahead of it though, so I'm working through the videos, and hopefully we can get you finally to the garden tour over the next couple days. I've been kind of on a schedule trying to post at least 2 videos a week. And I hope that's been enough for you guys. The channel is growing. Videos are getting more views, and they're doing it without me even looking. I haven't really been on YouTube much. I haven't really even been checking how well my videos are doing. Usually the videos that I'm not checking are usually the ones that do the best, and so I've just been not checking any of them, and hopefully I don't jinx any of the videos or any of the views. It does show that somebody is on here. If you would let me know if you can see me or hear me well, that would be much appreciated, whoever you may be. I've got my volume up. I was down just a second ago. Let me know if you can hear me and see me well. Pretty please. But I've been working through, been working in the garden, been doing some, doing a garden tour video. We've been getting in really late. The days have been very busy with work and things, and so I haven't really, today was we were looking at the garden together throughout the video. It was the first time that I was seeing the crops. I didn't see them yesterday, and then it's evening now. It's the first time, this evening is the first time that I've seen the garden since the day before yesterday. So it's been a while since I've been in there, and it had grown. It had grown, looked like, by 2 inches. It seems like it grows an inch every night. You wake up, you come out here, and the next morning, and it's big again and beautiful, and I absolutely love it. I love garden time. I love the garden work. I love being out in the garden. And the video that came out today, hopefully if more people come on here, we can talk about it. But the video that came out today, the title of it was Stop Making Gardening Hard. And the thumbnail was Gardening Isn't Rocket Science. And I want to talk to you all a little bit about that today. I talked to you about it on a live the other day, but I had to make the live private because we were having some issues with interruptions throughout the video, and just things happen, and so I made the video private. It got 130 some views, and I hated making it private because it got so many views, and people enjoyed it, but I really want to try to focus on that today, and as to why gardening isn't as hard as what people make it. I want to talk about how people make it hard, and why they shouldn't make it hard. I know typically when somebody wants to start a garden, or a vegetable garden, especially in now's time, day and age, people want to grow it to be more sustainable. They want to grow it because the stuff at the grocery store is so high, and that's a wonderful reason to grow the garden. But don't make it hard on yourself. Don't get so excited that you put more pressure on yourself than need be. And there's a lot of things out on the internet that's going to tell you to do this, or going to tell you to do that. And they're going to tell you this is the right way to do this, or you have to do it this way, or you have to do it that way. And my view of it is, do what you want. Do what works for you. If I say this works for me, that doesn't mean that it works for you. And I'm not going to tell you to do it my way or the highway. Do it in a way that works for you. Do it in a way that makes you happy, because if you don't enjoy gardening, it's not going to last very long. I heard a homesteader recently, when we were coming into preparing for garden season, and she said, I hate gardening. And she hates gardening because she wants things certain crops to do well, and they just don't do well. And if you find yourself in a position where you hate to garden, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, especially if you're doing it for sustainability. So don't make it hard on yourself. Don't set your expectations or your goals at a such high standard that you're not going to be able to meet those things. Don't do that to yourself. I beg of you, please don't do that to yourself. And if you're just starting to garden, start small. Start with things that you eat. Don't start with some random thing that you've heard somebody grow or seen somebody grow on the internet, and it looks good in their garden, but they've been gardening for 10 years. Start with something that's easy to grow, and something that's easy to start with. And those things that are going to be easy to grow and easy to start with are going to be things like pepper. Peppers are really easy to grow. Bush beans, easy to grow. Cucumbers, easy to grow. Onions, easy to grow. Garlic, easy to grow. Those are things that are easy to grow. Potatoes are semi-easy to grow, but you kind of got to grow them at a larger scale. Corn is not something that's easy to grow. That's not something to start off with. Tomatoes, you're going to get discouraged if you just start off with tomatoes. Things that are more resilient are the things that you're going to want to start. Okra is easy to grow. Zucchini is easy to grow. Summer squash is easy to grow. Start off with those things. Don't start off with the things or a big bunch of things that they're going to be on the harder end of to grow, and things that are going to be more susceptible to the weather and more susceptible to different types of diseases. And start off small. Don't start off with a large size garden. Here's the thing. Do not put all your eggs in the basket the first year, because that's a good way to get discouraged. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to go out there and love it. Every single time you go out there, love feeling the dirt in your hands and working the ground, and love the blood and the sweat and the tears that go into it, because there is going to be blood, probably. There is going to be sweat, most definitely, and there's probably going to be tears, and that's okay. That's okay. But I want you to love every bit of it. I want you to love every bit of the journey, and the way you're going to love it is starting out with things that, one, you eat, like I said, and things that are going to be a little bit easier to grow, a little bit easier on yourself, a little bit more low maintenance plants. I love gardening so much that I want everybody else to enjoy it. I love gardening so much that I want everybody else to enjoy it. But a lot of times I find, especially on YouTube channel, and I don't have Instagram, but I know all about the Instagram and the Pinterest pictures, the Pinterest perfect gardens and the Instagram perfect gardens. They make it harder on regular people. I just did the garden tour. And guys, in my garden right now, I told you in the video, I hadn't even seen the garden for like 2 days. And things were like in desperate need of watering. I've got, my pepper plants are doing horrible. My potato patch is like the worst potato patch I've ever had, ever. But here we are. And that's okay. That's a real garden. That's real life. I've been gardening for over 10 years. That's a real life garden. What's not real life is the little tiny clips that they show you on Instagram of the little tiny pictures of the best patch of the garden that they're doing, or these gardens that you see where they got drones coming in over top of their garden and everything is on that black plastic stuff. That's not affordable for most people. Somebody commented on my video the other day, on my tomato steak video, and she said, have you ever thought about doing cattle panels for tomatoes? And I know that a lot of people do that, but how many people realistically can afford cattle panels to trellis their tomatoes? In our area, they're about $45 to $50 for a 16-foot cattle panel in our area, and we can't afford that for tomatoes. The cattle panels that we have up there are recycled and reused, and the newer ones that we bought them on sale. We had found a local sale, and they were $15 a piece. Otherwise, they wouldn't be up in the garden right now. We wouldn't even have that amount that we have. So I want people to understand that the greater amount of homesteaders, the greater amount of people, we're just regular people. A lot of the videos that you see on YouTube, actually, a lot of the people that you see on YouTube are getting paid to be on YouTube. I am not. I'm not getting paid to be on YouTube. I have a large amount of subscribers for me. You know, it's a large amount to me. But compared to a lot of the bigger YouTube channels, I'm a very, very small channel, and I don't receive any income from it. I'm not monetized, and I do not receive any income from it. So I'm literally showing you all these things for free. I'm literally showing you all because I want you to enjoy the garden. I want you to be encouraged to grow your own food. I want you to feel empowered about growing your own food, and I want you to know that you can do it free, cheap, or on a budget. And so you can sustain yourself to a certain point through growth and through time, and very cheaply and very affordable for your average person. And you can grow a lot of food once you build yourself up to that. And that's what I'm saying. Start small. And here's the thing. Here's the thing too, in our area, and I know somebody personally, I know other people personally that will not do anything unless it's through the signs. So like if we're whatever moon phase we're in, or if it's in the foot or the hand or what, I don't even know what the signs are. But there's some people that won't even plant anything, or they'll pull up weeds on this certain sign, or they'll do this, or they won't plant at this time. And don't do that to yourselves. For goodness sake, do not do that to yourself. Do not make things harder. Do not make things harder than what they need to be. Put it in the ground. It's either going to come up or it's not. It's either going to produce food or it's not. And if it doesn't, then learn the reason why it doesn't. But I can guarantee you it's not because the moon's going to be in some whatever phase. Don't make it hard on yourself. And don't listen to those people that say you have to grow this a certain way, or you have to grow that one a certain way, or don't pile this on top of this, or don't pile that on top of that. Another YouTube homesteader here that I'm good friends with, she has grown a garden, and her garden is like, they're piled on top of each other, and to me that would be like a big no-no. I've never done it, and so I would think, well, you don't want to do all that, but she is, and her garden is thriving and it's doing wonderful, and I'm very proud of her for that, and I'm excited for her because she did it as an experiment and it's doing very well. And so don't listen to the naysayers. Don't let them tell you that you can't do something. When you can do it, and if it doesn't work out, then you know it doesn't work out. I've had a million people tell me this or that. I've had so many people tell me that it needs to be done this way, or it needs to be done that way, and within the 10 years that I've gardened, they've had their ups and downs just like I've had my ups and downs. They've had a bad crop year for such and such, or a good crop year for such and such, just the same as me. And so their garden hasn't been doing any better than my garden. In the over 10 years that I've been gardening. And so, just do you. Do what works for you. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, and learn from that and move on and grow from it. Life is just one big experience. You learn from certain experiences and you don't learn from certain experiences. And it's the same thing in the garden. It's just learning. It's just going out there and learning. And so I'm going to say it again. Do not make gardening harder than what it needs to be. It is not rocket science. It's not. There's certain things that are kind of, you don't want to start a garden too early, or things like that. Those are, your big things. You don't want to start a garden early. You don't want the frost to get it. And you do have to pay attention to certain diseases, especially with tomatoes. They're more susceptible to diseases. And so there is certain things that you need to do with tomatoes. It's a good idea to trellis your tomatoes in some way, put them up on in a tomato cage, and I do have a video about not using tomato cages, so if you want, if you are interested in that video, go check that out on my channel. We use stakes. We stake up our tomatoes, which is cheap and or free in our area. You can go out and cut sticks and stake your tomatoes up. And so, you know, I think people just make it expensive and they make it hard. They make it expensive and they make it hard. Some things in gardening can be more difficult than others, but it doesn't have to, like, it doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be rocket science. If you don't want to fertilize your garden, don't fertilize it. If you don't want to put compost in it, don't put compost in it. You know, those things are helpful. Those things make it a little bit easier to garden. Those things make your plants a little bit healthier. They give them a little bit of boost, but you don't have to do those things. You don't have to do them things. We have compost here, you know, right at our fingertips. We have chicken manure, and we have goat manure, we have horse manure, and we have rabbit manure. But I know not everybody has those things. And I know not everybody has the funds to go out and buy compost. And I know not everybody has the funds to go buy go buy some type of fertilizer. So if you don't do it. You know, just don't make it. I think too that a lot of people watch YouTubers and they say, you know, I have to do it this way, but you really don't. And a lot of times YouTubers are showing the way that they do it, and a lot of times they've got more funds than your normal person. They got more money, especially your big YouTubers. They've got more money than the average person has, like me or somebody else, you know, watching. And so a lot of time here recently, raised beds have been on the rise, and they've been really, really popular, and everybody wants to do raised beds. Well, raised beds are not cheap. They're not cheap. We have 3 raised beds that are this high off the ground, and it was $300 or over to bring soil in from an outside source to fill up those raised beds. It's expensive. Raised beds are expensive, and depending on the type that you buy or how tall you make the raised beds, it can get even more pricey and high. And so, you know, they're popular because they look pretty, and maybe they're easier in some realms, easier for certain people, but they're expensive. Another thing that you see a lot of is the market garden style, where they have the black tarp or whatever it is in the garden. I haven't looked at the prices of those, but I can guarantee that they're a couple $100s, and that's expensive, and your average person is not going to be able to afford those things. And so, you know, the videos that I show, I want you all to see, you know, we have a larger garden, but I want you to see that you can do it for a very cheap price. We started garden seeds this year. We started plants from seeds, and guess what? That was a flop. Everything died, but just a few plants, hardly anything made it. Nothing did well. And so, you know, we had to go out and buy seeds, but we buy from local greenhouses where it's, you know, just like 75 cents for, you know, for each plant, or, you know, I think it's like our local greenhouse is like $1.50 for, you know, a tray of 4. And so you can garden fairly cheap. If you look in the right places, if you make the right connections. And I encourage you to, if you're just starting out in a garden, if you know somebody local that gardens, if you have a friend or a family member or a neighbor or somebody local that gardens, ask them what does good for them. And I ask them how they do it, and maybe you can get like a good encouragement, a good help. You can get kind of a scope of what does well in your area, what kind of things you might need to amend, what kind of things you might need to add to the soil, or you know, whether it drains well or whether it doesn't drain well, or how much maybe in the area you'll need to water if the drought has been really bad over the last couple years. Just look into those things, talk to people, build a community around yourself of people that will encourage you and help you. There's 5 people on right now. Can somebody let me know if you all can see me well? There's been quite a few people on here, but nobody has commented. And I don't know if you all can hear or see me well. So will somebody leave a comment and let me know There is a swallow that is flying over top of me, and it's either a swallow or a martin. It's absolutely beautiful. But guys, I just want you all to feel encouraged. I want you all to feel enlightened. I want you all to know that you can do it. That you can do it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And if I can help you, I will. I'll try. I'll try to help you. But I want people to just be encouraged. I want to encourage you. Hello, how are you? I want to encourage you. I want to help you. And I want you to feel free to ask any questions. I want you to feel invited into this community, and to feel like, would be able to help you the best way we can. We're a small channel. We're just your regular everyday people, and I'm just here to try to help. I'm trying to help and trying to teach people how to be more sustainable, how to raise meat, how to raise a garden, how to preserve a garden, and things like that. I want you all to how to hunt and cook that food. We haven't done many videos on that, but hopefully when we get into the fall, we will have more videos on hunting, especially squirrel. Squirrel is one of our favorite things. Our season is in the fall. And so we absolutely love squirrel. We love cooking with squirrel. One of our favorite meals is squirrel with squirrel gravy and biscuits and fried taters. It's one of our favorite meals. And as soon as the squirrel season comes in, we start itching and ready to get out there and get some squirrel and preserve it. But guys, I just want you all to be encouraged. Like I said, I want you all to see that most people can do these things, and you can do it for a very low price. And we're not, we're not the smartest people in the world. We're not, immaculately. I don't even know if that's the word to say. We're not well educated. I mean, we have, your basic education. I had a year of college. I mean, I'm not anything just magnificent. I'm just your average, everyday person, just out here, grinding and doing what I can to help raise my family in a healthy way, in a sustainable way that we can live closely together, that we can learn basic living skills. A lot of this world out here, a lot of people out here do not know just the basic skills of just everyday life. People, especially in the United States and America in general, has a perception of where our food comes from. And I don't know if it's like that in other countries, but especially in our larger cities in the United States and America, they think that food comes from the grocery store. When they don't know that, a farmer grows that food, or, that meat is actually, like an animal, like it actually comes from an animal. And so we are trying to raise our child up to know better. We're trying to raise her in a way that she can hunt her food, that she can preserve her food, that she can grow her food, that she is educated in these things. And so that, in case of something happening, she is able to survive. And that's not something that is heavily taught. And I feel like people are trying to go back to that. I feel like people are trying to find the roots that we once had. But here in Appalachia, in our part of the mountains, they've been living like that forever. These are skills that are still taught for the most part in our area at a large scale. Our children know where these things come from for the most part. Most children I know that I grew up with, they hunted in the season, in the fall season, especially around deer season in our area. The boys and girls would miss school in the spring and stuff. They'd miss school for turkey season. and they would go, go and hunt, and they know how to hunt, and they know how to fish, and they know how to raise their food, and they know how to farm. My 8-year-old knows how to drive a tractor. And I know that there is grown men and grown women out there that wouldn't know the first thing about having to drive a tractor. Some of them in the larger cities wouldn't even know how to drive a vehicle. They don't know about raising meat or processing meat to raise. They don't know anything about raising a garden, or growing things from a seed, or starting things from a seed. And that's why I created this channel, not only to show you those things, but to show you those things that we've known for generations in Appalachia. That it's deeply rooted in us. It's deeply rooted in our culture, that these things are taught from generation to generation. Now we're losing some of these things with the modern technologies of this world, but these are things that my family is not willing to lose. These are things that we are going to teach my daughter as she grows up, and we are going to instill in her to know a love for farming, a love for raising her food, the ability to raise her food, the ability to process her food, the ability to hunt, the ability to take a hunt that she has brought home and process that hunt and know how to cook it and know how to season food. That's another thing. That's another lost skill. The skill of just cooking. You have chefs now, and then the culinary school and things like that. But back just not that long ago, a few generations ago, people knew how to cook food. Everybody was a chef. Everybody knew how to season food. Everybody knew how to, cut certain types of meat, and how to, thoroughly cook things through and through. They knew how to go out in the woods and find things that were edible, and they ate those things. And these are skills that have been lost. They have been lost just within a few generations that some of us now are trying to get back. That's something that I don't know very well of. I know a few things that I can walk out in the forest and find and get, but I want to get a deeper grasp on the things out in the woods that I can, gather up and hunt. I have just a very, very small understanding of different mushrooms and things like that, and very low understanding of berries. My husband has a decent grasp on some roots, such as bloodroot and different roots like yellow root, ginseng, and things like that. He has a larger understanding of different types of trees, but those are things that I don't have, and those are things that I would like to learn. I would like to be more of a forager. I would like to learn different plants and different things out in the wild that are edible, and things that I can get a hold of. And those are also things that I would like to pass down to my child, for her to learn, so that she can sustain herself and pass those things down onto her children. But guys, looks like there's just one person hanging out. I think I've lost everybody. And so I've been on here about 30 minutes, but I appreciate everybody that's popped on. If you have any questions for me, please leave them now before we get off. If you're interested in any of the videos that I've mentioned today, we have a lot of gardening content. We have a lot of content on rabbits and goats, and chickens. You can hear the chickens in the background right now. We have raised and grown our own food for a while now. And I have a lot of videos within the last year since we've been putting videos out. But I appreciate everybody that's hopped on and listened. I appreciate those that are going to be listening after this. I hope that you all became encouraged about this video and the things in it. I appreciate everybody that's been on here and been watching. But guys, I guess we're going to sign off. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.